Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined via Skype by MMA veteran Will Chope. Will, how are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on here.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for doing it. Will, you got a fight coming up June 27th at Rebel FC 3. How's training been going for the fight?
It's been going really good. I'm here in Singapore at Juggernaut Fight Club, and just been just working every day. And it's nice to be at a small gym because you kind of get all that focus on just for my fight and stuff. So that's been kind of good. That's always good, compared to those really big gyms where 10, 15 guys are getting ready for a fight. At least, you know what I mean?
Right. Are you still coaching?
Yeah, I still coach here as well.
Okay. I'm just curious, when do you start to just cut off the coaching and just focus on your fight? Do you ever just say, you know what, just let me focus on this fight and just stop teaching the other guys? Or are you always balancing and putting on different hats, coach, fighter? Are you always coaching, or do you ever say, you know what, let me just stop for a week and then just focus on me?
Almost all, at least it depends on which gym I'm at. So if I'm at Juggernaut, I'm always coaching until the week of my fight. And even if I'm in Malaysia at another gym called Muay Fit, or if I'm coaching at the time, then I'm just I coach until the week of my fight, because we fly a few days before the fight anyways, and then I'll just use that time to to just focus on myself, I guess.
Now, do you still live at the gym?
No, we finally got he put the fighters in the apartment now, so now it's just we got a fighter apartment.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just checking. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, some people have negative thoughts about it, but it's kind of cool to live at the gym, right?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's not bad when you live at the gym. You really, it's very hard to lose focus on what your goal is. You wake up to the gym, you go to sleep to the gym, so then you know what you're doing. You know your purpose when you live at the gym.
Now, are you coaching other pros? Are you coaching the average Joe? Are you coaching a mixture of both? Who are exactly your students?
Well, here in Singapore, we have of course, normal clients and stuff, and then also we have our amateur fighters, and then we have a few pros and a few guys on the Singapore nationals team. When I was in Malaysia just a month ago, I was coaching some of the pros there, but yeah, I bounce around a lot, so I'm not when I go to these gyms, I'm not the main coach. I'm just kind of there as an extra training partner and just mostly there for the clients,
Okay. Just curious, who are your coaches?
Arvin the Juggernaut, or Arvin Lawani. He's the head coach of Juggernaut. He's the owner, and then and I also have Luke Adams and Major Overall as my grappling coaches.
Are those guys going to be cornering you at the fight?
Arvin, they only pay for one corner, so so yeah, I only got one corner, man. But yeah, Arvin will be there.
Oh. Coming up on June 27th, you're going to be fighting Miguel Torres. What are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
He's super small for a featherweight. I saw him last Rebel FC, and I was just really surprised because I think he was walking around at 145, or he might be 147 pounds, walking around, and I'm just really surprised he's fighting at 145. I don't quite get it, but the crazy thing about fighting Miguel, though, is I looked up to this guy when I was in high school. I still remember him watching him on the Versus channel in America and watching him kill everybody in the WEC. So it feels really cool to fight what they say, when your idols become your rivals, and I really feel like I'm hitting that kind of moment when I get to fight him. But yeah, as far as the fight though, I know he's up there in age, or as far as wear and tear on his body and stuff. I just think I'm just going to out physical him. I think I'm bigger, stronger, and just going to be a much more physical fighter than he is.
Right. I agree with you. And he hasn't had very good results. I mean, he won the fight in Rebel FC, but the other fights that I've seen him fight at 145, there's something about him. He just doesn't look right. But I'm curious, do you still think that a win over Miguel Torres means the same thing that it did maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago?
Oh, of course not, but it's still... It doesn't mean the same thing as it would 5 years ago, but it would still be a huge win. I think it still matters. I definitely would rather have it was funny when I was watching the fight with Torres and Ashita. Ashita just got back in the tournament out of the other bracket. Ashita actually won that fight, in my opinion, but they gave Miguel the split decision. And like, I was happy because I feel like, you know, beating some random Japanese guy or beat a real name. You know, like most people don't know like the random fighters out in Asia or
right.
the different Asian MMA fighters. So what I like. For my name and for sponsors purposes and stuff, I'd rather fight Miguel Torres than those other unknown guys.
Right. Totally agree with you. Couldn't have said it better. You need his name. You need to beat a guy with a name. I mean, you're beating tough guys, but you're beating guys who back here in America, we don't know. We never heard any of these guys. You need a name like Miguel Torres. Now, those guys might be tougher matchups for you at this stage, but his name is half the battle. You know, you need to have a good performance, but you also need to beat somebody who people know, and so that's a big feather in your cap if you're able to get this win. Now, I'm just curious. There's a lot of people out there who say that, you know, Miguel Torres is washed up, or he's just a shell of himself, or he's not the same guy he once was. You know, whatever you want to say about the guy, there's a lot of people who are kind of down on his stock. So I'm just curious, do you think he's the same fighter? Have you noticed the difference that his skills have declined?
Like, his jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. Like, and he's crazy flexible, and he's really wiry. And I know he has a wiry strength. I remember just I kept on analyzing him when I was warming up. I don't know. I had a feeling me and him were in the same locker room, and I had a feeling after we were both going to win and going to have to fight each other. And then, but I don't think he's the same fighter like from the WEC. And also, I think the big difference is just he doesn't want to go to 130, and him fighting at featherweight, 66 or 145 is just he can't compete with the high level international fighters at that weight class. I still think he could at 135, but for whatever reason he doesn't want to cut to 135 anymore. But
I know you just said that you're a fan of his from the old days. You watched him on Versus, and also you fought on the same card as he did not too long ago. But I'm just curious, leading up to this fight, how much film have you studied on him?
I'm like really weird about watching. I don't know. It's like, so, I call it a fighter religion. I'm superstitious about watching watching film of guys I'm going to fight. So I just let my coaches watch it, and they'll just kind of tell me what I should be worrying about or whatever. And when I have a fight coming up, I'm like probably one of the few fighters I don't watch any film of the guy. I just let my coaches do it for me, and then they'll tell me what I need to like work on or worry about. So.
Okay.
I call it fighter religion, superstitious. Every single time I watch footage of a guy, I got too overconfident, or I got too cocky, or I got too worried, or something, and it just ends up being too much emotions. Right.
I hear you. What do you think his camp is telling him to do against you in this fight?
I have a friend who's in California who told me that who has a friend in his camp that they've been working on like rolling heel hooks and going off their leg locks and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's true, but I would think it makes sense, because I don't like he of course he's going to want to take me down. I have way more reach and like just I think way better stand up than him at this point. But I think he wants to take me down, but I don't think he can take me down conventionally. And he's not known as being like a real powerhouse double leg, single leg guy. So yeah, I kind of believe my friend when he said that they've been working on like rolling heel hooks and leg locks and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if he tries something fancy like that. So
Right. Now, you said this is a tournament. Is this an 8-man or a 16-man field?
Okay, we had the 8-man. We had our quarterfinal fights last year in the last Rebel FC.
Right.
And then so the June 27th is the semifinals and the finals in one night. So we're supposed to fight twice. So if I beat Miguel Torres, then I'm supposed to fight the winner of Takahiro Ishida and that Kleiber, I can't pronounce his name, Kiok is the other guy. So winner fights the winner. And what's hilarious is the other guys in the other bracket, 2 guys got injured that were in the original 8-man tournament. And so now the other bracket is like Takahiro Ishida, who lost to Miguel Torres in the quarterfinals, and then some new guy they got to replace. So me and Torres are actually the original guys, a part of the tournament.
Okay.
But yeah, it's still 2 fights in one night, so that's always risky.
Now, are there special rules to these fights? Are there shorter rounds, less rounds, no elbows? What kind of rounds what kind of rules are we dealing with here?
3 5-minute rounds.
is the final 5 rounds? Because I've heard that the final is going to determine the first ever Rebel FC featherweight champ.
As far as I know, they told me 3 rounds. Oh. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be. Actually, that makes me. I'm going to message them right after I'm done with this, just to be sure. Because last time I heard, they said 3 rounds, but yeah.
Also, I'm curious about the rules. Do they use pride rules where you can stomp, kick, and knee the head of a grounded opponent, or are they using unified rules?
Yeah, I really wish they did, but Rebel FC took the unified rules instead. One FC and a couple other promotions here in Asia are using the stomps and the soccer kicks and 12 to 6 elbows and stuff, but Rebel FC said unified rules. So
okay,
sad.
I can tell by your voice.
Yeah. I like the pride rules.
Yes, so do I. I'm curious to know why this fight has taken so long to be put together, because like you said, it was last year, pretty much almost a year, 10 months since the opening round of this tournament. Why has it been so long in between fights?
I think it's just typical Rebel FC fashion. Like they've been averaging 1 show a year, kind of. So it's I don't like. I know they had some new things, but they got a bunch of new sponsors and I think a new financer or whatever, because that's why the first 2 shows were in Singapore, but the show's going to be in China, so basically they got a guy to bankroll the whole entire event in China. So
okay,
I'm pretty sure that's kind of like what the rumor talk is. So I think that's what took so long. They just needed to find a different money guy. Yeah.
Now I'm just curious, since there's 2 fights in one night, how much of the other guys on the other side of the bracket have you studied?
Well, I know Ashita, and I met him in Japan, and I actually originally when the 8 guys were announced, I thought Ashita would be my toughest opponent, but after watching his fight versus Torres, that he went to a split decision and then he lost his last fight in Japan, he's making me feel more and more confident now. I think I should be fine. The great thing is about all 3 fighters is I have the same game plan for all 3. So, I don't have to prepare for any of those 3 differently. If I was going to fight any of those guys singly on a different night, I would prepare for them all the same way. So I think that's good.
How many fights have you had in a single night? Is this going to be the first time you fought twice in a night, or have you done this before?
I fought 3 times in a night, and I fought, but that was kickboxing, and I fought 2 times for MMA, and it's definitely different because you get that adrenaline dump, and it's a really weird feeling actually, and you're never, every fight you're not as strong as as the first fight, of course, and it's weird. It's a weird experience. I don't know how to describe it.
Is it a good weird? Do you like fighting multiple times on a night? Because I know you're a very active fighter. Do you like multiple fights on a night?
Not particular. Now this early in my career, I was all for it. I loved it. I was I want to do as many fights as I can, and I still want to fight as often as I can. But when you're fighting really high level guys, I kind of want to prepare for each one at a time. But if I'm going against mid-level dudes or something, then I'd be all up for it. Then it's kind of if I know I'm gonna win, or if I think I'm gonna walk through most of the guys, then I don't mind it. But when you're preparing for really top ranked guys or top 100 in the world, you got to have those fights on different nights. I think it's just makes it for better.
Right.
Maybe not as a fan, but as a fighter, it's pretty stressful.
Right. And tournaments are really weird because 9 times out of 10, the best guy doesn't always win the tournament. It's usually the guy who comes in with the best strategy and the guy who takes less damage in the first fight. So, but I'm just curious, with the stakes already put in place, I guess here, whoever wins this tournament becomes the Rebel FC featherweight champion. Besides that, is there a big check at the end of the tournament?
Oh yeah, there's more money than I made in the UFC, and it's pretty big money actually if you win the tournament. So this is going to be if I win this tournament, it'll be the biggest payday I've ever had. So that's definitely my number one. Don't get me wrong, I want the belt, but that money I want more.
Now, I'm just curious, what's your game plan, not for this fight, but for your career? Obviously, it's been well documented, we don't need to get into it, but is that the goal? Is your goal to rebuild and make it back to the UFC, or is your goal to, get some wins and jump into ONE FC? What's your plan going forward?
I don't want to fight for ONE FC. I know too many people who's been kind of fucked over by that promotion, and but I just want to stay busy and fight as much as I can. I'm signed with Pancrase as well, so I just hope to just stay busy, maybe fight 6 to 8 times a year, and then if I can get a crazy win streak going and the UFC will take me back, then of course I want to go to the UFC. But I really have. I don't know if the UFC will take me back because of and I don't even know if it's so much about the crime, but I think it's just because I got kicked out of the military, and the military is a big sponsor of the UFC. So yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work out. And but if I don't go back, regardless, if I don't go to the UFC or if I do go to the UFC, I'm going to be still fighting, and most likely I'll be here fighting in Asia. Hopefully, I'm going to try to focus more on Japan, but I really hope if I get these big wins and get a good win streak going, the UFC will take me back. But either way, we'll see. If not, just focus on Japan.
Right. In October, Pancrase is having a featherweight title fight. I can't remember who Nam Fan's fighting. I feel so
He's
bad.
Fighting, Andy Main.
Andy Main. That's it. They were on the same team in the Ultimate Fighter. I couldn't remember his name, but I'm glad you remembered it. Yeah, Andy Main versus Nam Fan. I'm assuming you want the winner of that.
Yeah, but I'm already got I can't tell who my opponent is, but
okay.
Until Pancrase announced it first, they gave me my next fight for Pancrase already for August 9th, so I'll be fighting in Pancrase August 9th, and I'm happy. I'm happy with the matchup they gave me. They gave me a really, really good Japanese guy, and as far as I know, they told me as long as I win, I'll be the one who gets the next title shot. So. So that's what I'm hoping.
That's good. Pancrase is doing some big things. They were off for a while, but now they're bringing over a lot of guys from the United States. They're branching out. They're putting on bigger shows. I really like what they're doing over there.
Yeah, and they finally got their TV deal. They talked about not being on TV for 12 years, and now they're finally back on TV after 12 years. And the first show that aired, they had a lot of ratings. The ratings were really good. So I just hope it stays strong. I want to. I like fighting in Japan. Japan is probably one of the coolest places to fight for. So I hope they keep doing good, so I can keep fighting there.
Right. Now I'm just curious because you're a very active fighter. I think this will be your 4th fight in 2015 alone, and 2014 you were very active, obviously. I'm just curious, what kind of paydays are you making? You don't have to give me exact numbers, but with the frequency that you fight at, are you making good money?
A lot of people talk about my record. If you look at my share dog, people say, "Oh, Will's fought a lot of cans or fought a lot of bums or guys with no records." And that's true. I don't mind fighting. People always give me shit because I fight for money, and people if promoters are going to offer me low level guys or whatever, and they're going to give me decent money, a few $1,000s, I'll take a few $1,000s to fight a guy with no record. That doesn't bother me,
Right.
To me it's free money, it's a free trip, and a free plane ride, a new experience, a new stamp on the passport, and yeah, I love it. I really enjoy it. But a lot of people criticize me for doing that, but I think nowadays I got enough tough guys on my record to where it shouldn't be a big deal if I fight a few bums here and there. So and people keep on thinking that I live in Asia, but I'm the foreigner everywhere I go. I'm the foreigner, so I'm always fighting the hometown guy in these different places and stuff, and or fighting the Asian or something, and they think the promoter or is setting me up to win. I'm not actually being set up to win. I'm not. They actually are hoping I'm going to lose, or in mainland. Anytime I fight in mainland China, they definitely think they don't know me too well, or they don't really know about how many fights I have, because I don't know. I don't think they really do their research, and they actually think that their local guys are gonna destroy me or something, And then when I win, then they want to have me back, and then so
right.
But yeah, I'm as long as I make a few $1,000s per fight, I'm pretty happy. So, and I like to, I stay busy and yeah.
Yeah. You bring up your record, and it's a very weird situation because you get a lot of crap, but at the end of the day, you've only been pro since 2010, and you're only 24. You're still a young guy, so I don't really know where all the hate is for you taking fights against guys who might not be top level competition or whatever. You got to get experience. I mean, I know you fight a lot, but you got, at the end of the day, experience is very, very valuable. So I don't know why you're getting all this crap. It's weird.
Because, and I tried to explain that, like, I was kind of, when I got out of the military, when I was like, I was 19 years old, I really didn't train MMA before that, and I wasn't like a high school wrestler, or I wasn't the guy like I didn't really do anything, and then I just kind of like had this kind of stupid dream. I was like, yeah, I want to be a fighter, and then so I just moved to Thailand right after I got out of the military, and then I started my career then, and I trained for a couple months. I never went through that whole amateur series, and I never really had a coach for like until later in my career, until pretty recently actually, and yeah, a lot of people don't know that, but it is what it is, I guess. But the haters are always going to hate. The share dog trolls are always going to be the trolls, Right.
I try to stay away from all this internet crap. Bad news. I mean, the internet's a great place. It's a great place because anyone can be there, but it's a bad place because anyone can be there. So yeah, it's really weird. I don't want to touch too much on the UFC thing, but I got to ask you a few things.
Go for it.
Was that the most rough time in your life? Because you had the fight against Max Holloway, you were on a great win streak, you lost that fight. Then you get cut by the UFC, and then after that you had your rebound fight or your bounce back fight, whatever you want to call it, and you lost that fight. That 5-month span, how horrible was that? Is it worse than I think? Is it better than I think? What was that time in your life like?
I like to say that the time when the crime actually happened, that like 5-6 years ago, when I actually went to jail, was the worst time of my life. But this is a close second, I think, reliving it all. But
right.
But yeah, I was really reevaluating a lot of things. I was like, if I can't be in the UFC, should I even fight anymore? Should I quit? Like, I was thinking should I just go back to work a normal job? Like, my dad was telling me if I wanted to go to work at the company he was working at, I could work with him, and I was really like reevaluating the whole fighting thing, and then I was really excited. Then I was like, no, forget that. Okay, I'm gonna the promoter in Taiwan gave me a fight, and then I went to Taiwan, but I didn't have almost had like no training. I missed to train like literally 10 days before that fight only because I was so kind of busy with with the craziness of that, and then then I lost that fight. And it was rough. Right, but I think the hardest thing to deal with was just nobody really knew me before, and then all of a sudden everybody knew me, and I had thousands of people who knew me and hated me for just something that they read, or because they read the title of an article, they didn't really go in depth or whatever. So I think that was, I never experienced. I don't think anybody experiences anything like that. You don't know how to prepare for something like that, and that was kind of rough. But now I just don't care. Now I just kind of worry. But I know I'm a fighter. I know I'm going to do this. Like I said, UFC or no UFC, I'm going to keep fighting. And it kind of helped it made me stronger. If it made me stronger. And also, like, people say, like, I kind of look at it as a blessing too, because maybe I wasn't ready for the UFC level. Like, as a fighter, maybe I wasn't on that level yet. But I feel like now, like, since like it's been over a year since that's happened, and I've improved. I've been making a lot of improvements, and I've been improving as a fighter and in the gym and everything. And like now, I feel like, hey, even though I'm not in the UFC, I feel like I'm a UFC level fighter now. Like I could compete with those guys. And I said maybe I couldn't. Maybe it was for the best. You know what I mean? Like I try to look at the positive side of it now.
My next question was kind of going to be along those lines, but I know you just said that you look at the positive stuff. But again, at one point in time, I'm sure it had to have bothered you that, in the U.S., you were only known for getting cut by the UFC for a situation that happened years before. That had to bother you, right? There's a bunch of people out there who didn't even know you were on the roster, and then all of a sudden you're front page news. That had to bother you, right? Yeah,
definitely bothered me. Luckily, I love my fans here in Asia, and like I said, I'm from America, but Asia really is my home, and it's been my home for like the last 5-6 years. So yeah, my family is out here, my all my close friends and stuff, and my real fans are out here in Southeast Asia. So I can, us Americans are known for being very loud and outspoken and opinionated. So I kind of now like. In the UFC, of course, I want them on my side. But if I'm on the UFC and I'm back fighting in Asia, now I could care less, really, to be honest.
Just curious, and this will be the last question on this topic. The timing of the story, see, it really bothered me, that whole entire story, because it was old news to a certain degree, and the timing and the angle. The angle of the story was more like, we got you, like, we found some dirt on you, where I thought, but I'm a different guy, so I'm not like all these other vultures in this industry. Like, my angle, if that would have been the story, but I probably wouldn't have grabbed onto that story, but let's say that I did grab onto that story, the angle probably would have been like, look, this is a guy who made a mistake, and he's rebounded, and he's doing great things in MMA. That probably would have been the angle. Did that bother you, that the angle was more of a, we caught you, like haha, we just did some digging on you, rather than, look, this is a guy who made mistakes, and now he's rebounded, and he's doing well?
Like, I thought it was very, like, TMZ style, like, like the crazy celebrity news, and like, I was really, that was the guy's name, Jeremy Botter. I guess he's a big journalist in the industry or whatever. I didn't know him until then, and man, it was ridiculous. He was just doing it to get as many hits as he can for his website, and whatever, he succeeded, and I understand why he did it, but like, fuck, man, he could have talked to me, or could have talked to my ex-wife or something before he did it. Like, he was just totally remorseful. Didn't give up. Like, he didn't care anything. Like, he was just caring about his ratings. So
I agree. What a cutthroat. But
I guess that's how it is in this business, right?
As you can probably tell, I don't like any of these guys. So these guys are all useless to me. I'm the best. Who else would be up at 2 a.m. in America interviewing somebody? I'm number one. All these other scumbags, I don't like any of them, and if they hear this, then the hell with them. I don't care what they think. But I thought that really did bother me. That angle of the story, it was haha, we got, like, you thought you could get away from us, we got you, rather than like a positive angle. Like, I think regardless of the topic, he would have got hits if he would have published it in the positive light. And look, this is a guy who made mistakes. We all make mistakes. We're all human. And he's rebounded, and now he's in the UFC. I think, that would have been a good story, too.
Yeah, but everybody likes Nate. I don't know, but
Yeah, God. What a creep. And if he was here right now, I'd throw my shoe at him, and he better polish it up before he sends it back to me. God, some of these guys in this industry, holy moly,
The thing was, everybody tried to think that I lied. That they said I lied to the UFC. I didn't tell the UFC. The UFC only ever asked if I had a criminal record, and I put my criminal record. They never asked, did you ever serve? Like, on a lot of other job applications in the States, they'll say, have you ever served in the military? But on the UFC, they never had. And like, if they didn't ask me, I wasn't going to tell them. If they asked me, maybe I would have told. I would have told them. But I did report my criminal, like, you know what I mean? Like, it asked if I had any criminal background or criminal history, and I put it there because it's actually just a misdemeanor assault charge, and that's what it was. And then and everybody's like, no, I got, like, all these people on the internet. I was reading a ton of stuff. They said I got charged with a felony, I had a dishonorable discharge, and and I was like, not exactly. It's a little bit different, like, but whatever.
Yeah, God.
I'm glad it's long over. So
Thank God for that. I had to get that off my chest. It's been bothering me for a long time. Anyways, changing gears a little bit, I like to end all the interviews on a segment I like to call Really Random. That's where I ask you a random question, and you give me the real answer. First question, What's your favorite movie?
Gladiator.
What's the movie you've seen the most times?
Probably Dodgeball.
That's a good one.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Yeah, I've probably seen that the most.
That's a good one. I'm just curious, since you are the world's tallest featherweight, how do you make 145? I got to know this. It's been
really hard the last couple times, but for the longest time in my life, I've only been walking around at like 165 pounds. Mm-hmm. And so like it's pretty standard in this for everybody cuts around about 20 pounds, you know. Mm-hmm. And the like that was what like my normal walk around weight for the longest time. I'm walking around a little bit heavier now, not much, but a little bit to where it's noticeable. And but yeah, just man, hours in the sauna, water loading, water loaded before, then hours in the sauna, dehydrate the hell out of myself, and then then do my best to recover after weigh-ins. Like that's kind of been what I've been doing now. I kind of cut weight like a caveman. That's still kind of old school.
I'm just curious, when you were a kid, were you always, very, very skinny? Did you always have trouble putting on weight? Were you always tall and skinny, or did you just shoot up?
I've always been like this tall, skinny dude. Like people call me Skeletor, or like, just a super tall, skinny dude. And like, what was it? I remember in boot camp, I was on an eating waiver because I was underweight for my height, and so they gave me extra time to eat, which was awesome when I was in boot camp. But man, for the longest time, I was like 6'2", 6'3", and I was walking around at like 145 pounds back when I was like 17, 18 years old. And then, it was always just really, really hard to put on weight. And then, and people think I'm just like this massive dude, like I'm John Jones' size, but I'm like, and that they're like, I remember I read somebody, they're like, he must cut 50 pounds. Right. I was like, man, you would die. I would die if I cut 50 pounds. I cut the same weight as everybody else does. So like, I just end up being taller and skinnier than most people. That's all.
Right. I was curious about that because, like you just said, I read those same articles where people were saying you were dropping 40 or 50 pounds. So I just had to check and make sure. Now I'm curious. I've heard you say in the past that you want to fight till the same age Dan Severn was when he stopped fighting, 52 years old. Is that still the plan?
Yeah, that's a plan. I want to be like the ultimate journeyman. Like, I hope I hope I win a couple world championships on the way, like on that road. But yeah, I want to fight until as long as this body holds up. So,
good.
I've been lucky, no serious injuries so far, and I definitely hope definitely hope to have like over a few hundred MMA fights. I want to beat Travis Fulton's record, but I think that might be hard nowadays with the. But I'm going to try.
From time to time, I go on Wikipedia and look at his record, and it's crazy because there's sometimes he fought 4 times in a week.
He was crazy because one guy he fought on his record, he fought 16 times. Yeah. I was like, man, I know like a lot of his fights were like tough man competitions. They weren't like legitimate like MMA shows, but
they were.
If I can be like have as many fights as him, but be like legitimate, like Jeremy Horn or like Dan Severn, then all right, then that's a good career, I think. Yeah.
I wonder what kind of money he made in fighting. I know it wasn't, a lot of money because of the era that he was in, but I'm sure even if he was making, $100 or $200 in the early days, he fought 500 times, do the math. If that was just the bare minimum, he's still doing nice. So I wonder what his career earnings are.
I think he'd be shocked too. He'd be like, what happens if he counted it all up, he'd be like, damn, what happens to all that money?
Yeah. I'm just curious, what brought you to Asia?
I remember when I was in high school, I used to look up Muay Thai in Thailand and stuff, and I just liked, I thought Muay Thai was cool, and also I just kind of had this fascination with Asia when I was really young. It was funny, when I lived in California, when I was a kid, I grew up in like a Hmong neighborhood. Hmong people are like from Laos, Cambodia and stuff, and so I grew up in this kind of like Asian neighborhood, like or right next to it, and I always liked I just always liked like had a fascination in Asia. I used to read fucking a bunch of books, and I just thought it was cool. I thought I was like, I got to go one day, and then so I made sure I did. And then definitely Muay Thai in Thailand kind of kept me here, and after actually coming here and training here, and the lifestyle, and this is like the only place like I can make a living off of fighting, like solely off of my fight career and off of coaching. Like if I was coaching in America and fighting, I would have to, still have to have a normal job, and right. But over here in Asia, I can live off of just coaching, fighting, and it's it's way better than that, I mean, and also, like, I can fight very often over here with the commission in America and stuff. Like, even if I don't get hurt, or if I don't get finished, or if I win a fight, you can still get like a 30-day suspension if the commission just just says it. And then for 30 days, I can't fight anywhere in America, like, because of that, So, yeah, I like my free. Like, they say America's free, but I was like, I don't know. I think Asia's more free. You can do whatever. You can do whatever, So
right. For sure. When it comes to MMA, because now everyone's got 2 or 3 fights under their belt, and then they're starting to manage their career and maneuver in ways. Okay, well, I got to find the easiest path to the UFC. So I'm not fighting this guy, but I'll take that guy, and it's got to be on this date. Like, it's very weird. It's a very strange setup now, the regional circuit in MMA. So I agree with you. It is a lot more free in Asia. Just curious, what countries have you lived in Asia?
I lived in Taiwan, the Philippines. I stayed in China for a few months. I lived in Thailand, of course, Malaysia, and now Singapore. So kind of. And when I was in the military, I lived in Guam, which is like an island territory. But it's funny, like, Guam is a U.S. territory, but it's very much like it's. I would say it's more Asia than it is American. If that makes sense. It's a ton of Filipinos on the island, and the Chamorro people too on the island are pretty cool. So yeah, been living all over, and I've been traveling all over too. So yeah, nothing beats this life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I love just like the fact that I get to travel like every 6 weeks. I get to go to another country and get to have another story, and yeah, it's fun.
Person you look up to?
Man, I don't know. Like, I would say maybe my dad, probably more than any like celebrity or anything like that. Like yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, yeah, of course, my dad, yeah.
Superpower you'd love to have?
Man, I would like to be like Wolverine. Like, no, not the claws. I don't even care about the claws. The fact that he just like lives forever,
right? And
he's kind of like immortal, like, and he heals all the time. I'd want that.
Yeah.
Then I could just march forward, take as many punches as I can, and nobody's gonna stop me.
Yeah. Celebrity crush?
Well, Taylor Swift. Love Taylor Swift. Don't judge me out there, guys. You guys all love her too.
Well, I do. I'm a big fan of her music.
Taylor Swift is awesome.
It's good music. I don't know what to say. It's just good. Like, I found myself like, I'm singing all these songs, like in the car I'm driving, I
used to get embarrassed that I knew all the words. Now I just don't even care. I'm like, I don't care. You know these words too. Don't act like you don't know them. I just tell people that. Don't act like you don't know the song.
Yeah. It's catchy. There's just something about it. Like, that's why she's so popular. It's just good. I don't know what to say. There's some of these people out there who you're like, how did they get famous? But like Taylor Swift, it's obvious. Like, all her stuff is good. Like, it's just hard to say. Like, I can't describe it. I like it. I don't even like white girls that much, but Taylor Swift, I love Taylor Swift, and like I always tell my friends laugh at me. I was like, man, I don't even like white girls, but Taylor Swift, I love Taylor Swift. Yeah. I mean, she's not my looks wise, she's not my favorite, but her music's really good. So I mean, that's all you can ask for. But I'm curious, since you said Taylor Swift, what's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Probably 22, because I remember when I was 22, I'd be singing that song so much. It was just funny. Yeah.
That's like a given. Whenever somebody turns 22, you gotta sing that to them or tell that to them. I remember
that song was on repeat one time. I was like, yeah. People are going to judge me for this, but you guys can't deny she's hot.
This is great. What do you like better, knockouts or submissions? Because I know that you have a lot of submissions on your record, but everyone loves knockouts. Fighters, fans, we're all addicted to it. So what do you like better, winning a fight by knockout or submission?
I would rather knock people out, but I've gotten a couple knockouts in Muay Thai and K1 and stuff, but man, sometimes it's so hard to get the knockout in MMA, and I just end up getting the submission. But I never actually going out. I'm never trying to grapple somebody or like take guys down and stuff. I don't like that. Like, not usually. Anyways, I try to go for the knockout first, or try to clinch and go for knees and elbows, and and then somehow I just end up getting the back. So, but yeah, of course, the knockout. Everybody loves knockouts.
Right. Where's your favorite place to fight?
Japan now. Like after I went to Japan, like I would just say, just wow, like the crowd, they're so respectful and they're so knowledgeable and like it was the only place in Asia where I didn't get like booed the first time or like when you fight like in a new country, like people always root for the local or they root for the Asian guy or something and when I went to Japan, like I was surprised that some fans knew who I was, and this one guy made a drawing of me and stuff, and he wanted to hand it to me after the fight, and it was really 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 cool, and yeah, just definitely the crowd there is just just amazing. Right. I wish other crowds were like it.
Right. I go back and forth. Sometimes I like those Brazilian crowds who always back their guy, but then sometimes I just love the Japanese fans who just, they look up to these fighters. Every fighter, regardless if they're the main event or the first fight on the undercard, every fighter's a hero. Like, it's crazy. So I go back and forth. Sometimes... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I go back and forth. Do I want the fans, like, going crazy, or do I want, the fans to be respectful? I go back and forth. I guess it's just depending on what mood I'm in that day.
Like, I'm sure if I was Brazilian, I would love the Brazilian crowd. But if you're not Brazilian, it's pretty... Yeah, it's kind of hard, I remember watching one time the UFC. I think it was in Germany, and the crowd was singing. And I thought that was really cool. Like, I think it would be cool to fight in Europe one day because the crowd is all singing and roaring, and I think that would be kind of cool. But yeah, so far I definitely like Japan. Right. I like that they know how much a fighter struggles just to get in the cage and fight. Like, they know like what it takes. Like, they know that we have to cut weight in the sauna or we're dehydrating ourselves, and they know like about our training camps and stuff. And yeah, I think they have a different type of appreciation compared to other fans.
What's your pet peeve?
I would say it's funny. Like here in Southeast Asia, like I was a tourist once, but now like since I actually live here, I really really hate tourists, and I hate guys like I call it a white guy in Asia syndrome. Like white guys come to Asia and they think they own the place, and I'm like, man, you just got here, and they're loud everywhere. Whether they're Australian, from England, or America, or anywhere, they're the loudest guy at the bar, the loudest guy at anywhere you go, and those guys drive me nuts.
If you found a magic lamp and you rubbed that magic lamp and a genie appeared and he was going to grant you 3 wishes, what would those 3 wishes be?
Oh, you already know. Probably I'd get my superhero, my superpower. I'd get that Wolverine regeneration.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I don't know what I'd ask. I'm all into like aliens and stuff too, so I'd probably like ask knowledge, like, "Yo, can you give me a machine to talk to the aliens?" Like, like I don't know, something weird, like something I would want to know, like this. What does it say? The secrets of the universe or something, or like ask for that, Yeah. I know it's not. Yeah, immortality, secrets of the universe, and I think and money, of course, because everybody needs money, right?
Yeah. Time period you would like to go back and visit?
Let's see. Probably just early, what they call roaring 20s. I think the 20s would be cool. Yeah, roaring 20s. I don't know. Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Okay. I like it. If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change?
Man, politics. I'd change politics. I think politics is ruining the world, right? Like, everywhere, even here in Asia and in America. Like, of course, I read about what's going on in the States every now and then, and also even here. It's definitely politicians. I change politicians. That's what I try to change.
Best advice you ever got through life, and best advice you ever got through fighting?
I think the same. Same for both. It's gonna be hard, but like life's gonna be difficult, but it's only going to be difficult for so long, as long as you keep going through it, like eventually it gets easy. He said, my dad, nothing in life is easy. So the same thing in fighting, kind of, I just kind of translated over, like, fighting's not easy, training's not easy, but you just keep at it. Yeah. Then, if you're doing difficult things all the time, eventually those difficult things start to become easy.
What do you worry about? What keeps you up at night?
Probably my family, like my kids. Definitely my kids. So, because like always I'm traveling, and so I'm not always with them, and I'll go back and forth to Thailand to go. But yeah, definitely my kids. I always end up thinking about them at nighttime or in the. Yeah.
So your kids, they don't live in Singapore with you?
No. So I have a 6-year-old daughter that's in with my ex-wife in Florida, and then I have my son lives in Thailand right now. He's with my current wife in Phuket. But I'm actually I'll be in Singapore for a little bit, and then people don't know I actually know how much I bounce back and forth. Like literally every 2 months or so, I'm always back and forth, and maybe I'll stay in Thailand for a month and then come back to Singapore or like. And when I was just in Malaysia, my family was with me in Malaysia, but Singapore, the visa and immigration is pretty strict with Thai people, so it's like it's just easier if she's in Thailand instead of in Singapore. So.
Okay. I was just curious about that because I know you said earlier that you're living in like a fighter dorm, so I was curious to know how the family likes that, but you cleared it up. So.
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's exactly why too. Singapore's really expensive. It's one of the most expensive places in the world to live. So that too. I can afford Thailand. I can't afford Singapore.
Okay. I hear you. What's your hidden talent?
Oh man, I don't know. Probably, like, it sounds stupid because everybody thought I would like do running or something or play basketball. Like, I'm not good at basketball anymore, but running, I can still run. I'm surprised I never I should have stuck like with cross country or track. I probably would have actually probably gone far with that. But yeah, definitely, I would definitely like to run. So. Which helps for fighting, I guess.
Right.
But yeah.
Right.
Not really a talent. I'm not a very talented guy, to be honest.
Right. How did you get your nickname, The Kill?
Oh, it was funny. Not because I'm a killer or because I'm a badass. It was actually because I got my ass kicked so many times early in my career, and people were like, my friends, they're like, you'd rather get killed than turn down, because I was always taking fights. I was taking the dumbest fights in Muay Thai and even in MMA early on in my career, and they were like, you'd rather get killed than turn down a fight, because every time somebody offered me a fight, I was like the promoter's favorite guy, because I would be like, yeah, all right, yeah, I'll take it. I don't care if in Thailand, when you fight Muay Thai against foreigners, or there's no weight classes, so you fight. It's all open weight. It's all like luck of the draw. You don't know who you're going to fight until the day of the fight. Mm-hmm. And so, I got my ass kicked a lot of times early in my career, and my friends were just like, Will, you're fucking stupid. Why are you taking these fights? You dumb? You want to die? Like, so they just called me. They're like, Will the Kill. Like, I don't know. They just thought it was stupid rhyme in this, so that's why they called me.
I like it. It's got a good ring to it, and it's unique. Yeah. It's unique. There's always got, I'm sure every time your nickname is talked about, I'm sure there's a bunch of questions. So that's always a good nickname. It's always a good nickname when you don't know exactly why it's someone's nickname. So I like it. I think it's got a good ring to it.
I definitely like Lanky Madness the best.
Yeah,
Lanky Madness is way cooler.
Yeah. That was going to be my next question, because I heard that you were going to switch over completely, and Will the Kill was going to be no more, and it was just going to be Lanky Madness. Is this true? Are you thinking about getting rid of the Kill?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but then like so many people were like, "Nah, you're the Kill." And then they're like, "No, I already know you." Like some people, even when I go to Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand, they're like, "Hey, Kill, what's up?" And they don't even call me by my name; they call me Kill. So I'm like, I guess I can't change it, Like,
right.
I like having Will the Kill Chope, aka Lanky Man.
Yeah,
so like, it's alright. I'll just have like 2 or 3 nicknames. It's cool.
Yeah, that's good. Dan Henderson, for a long time, he was Dangerous Dan. Then he was Dan Hollywood Henderson, and now he's Hendo. So, you can have multiple nicknames. Yeah, H-Bomb too. Yeah, the H-Bomber or whatever. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Or Josh Barnett, babyface assassin to. Was it War Master?
Yeah, the War Master. Yep. That's,
I was like, man, that's a hell of an upgrade for a nickname.
Right. And Misha Tate was Takedown, and now she's Cupcake.
It's funny.
So there's no rules on nicknames. Have 1, have 10. It's good with me. Now, last question before I let you go. What's the number one thing on your bucket list?
I definitely I just want to keep traveling. It's always on my thing to do is just always I want to travel to new places, and I think I want to my bucket list though, thing I have to do. I definitely want to I want to climb Everest, and I want to go up Everest. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah. And it's cool because it's actually really cheap tickets from where I'm at. So like here to Nepal, where Mount Everest is, like it's pretty cheap ticket actually too. So I was like, yeah, one day I got to do that, got to go.
Will, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
I just want to thank thank Juggernaut Fight Club, and I definitely want to thank the fans out there that listen and that actually take the time to try to know me and still follow me in my career and support me, because I know there's a lot of guys even in America that do support me. Haters out there too, but I know there's a lot to support me, and I just want to thank those guys that always support me and thank my gym. Yeah.
Will, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck June 27th at Rebel FC 3 against Miguel Torres.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for having me.